And so about 3 months into watching your show, I did call and speak to my mom. That was during COVID, and she was in a home at the time, so I wasn't physically able to be there, but I had that conversation with her, and it was one of the scariest things that I've ever done in my life. But
yeah.
So my question is, do you believe that Jesus Christ is God?
No.
Why not?
Because he's his son.
But it says in the Bible in many verses that he is God.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. And I just said to her, I go, listen, what you think that you're doing by helping him out, you're not really doing. You're actually making things worse for him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know how to be an individual, how to be a man, and how to take responsibility, because you're just sitting there helping him, catering to him, and all those kinds of things.
Out of Russia, first-time caller, Balad. Balad, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you very much, Jesse. You are amazing.
Amazing.
You are a discovery for me of the year. Right after Andrew Tate, you are amazing, really. So my question is,
I've been like the caller before me. I've been trying for years to get on and talk to you. I've been, I actually got introduced to you. Oh, I'm getting nervous. But I know you always say, oh, it's Jesse.
Relax, it's just Jesse.
Okay.
So she was a female minister. So what I'm kind of wondering is, why do so many male ministers kind of speak against that?
Well, first, I'm sorry that you went through the torture of having a female preacher. Chris, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you so much, Jesse. It is really amazing just to get through. I'm grateful to be on your show.
Right on.
Started listening to you guys about 2 years ago. Found you through Get a Job. And
Get a Job is amazing.
He is amazing. That's great stuff. That led me to listening to your show on the daily, and your show has been enlightening. It has truly shown how to live in the world but not be of it. That's one of my biggest takeaways from your content, and that led me to coming to church online every Sunday, and I'm really, really grateful for that. It didn't take me long, Jesse, to catch the vision, and so about 3 months into watching your show, I did call and speak to my mom. That was during COVID, and she was in a home at the time, so I wasn't physically able to be there, but I had that conversation with her, and it was one of the scariest things that I've ever done in my life. But
yeah,
it was a terrific conversation. She was grateful to have the conversation with me, and I'm fortunate that I did it when I did it, because a few months later she did pass.
She did.
My dad, he did. I was able to. I learned from you in listening to the show. Other people have asked how to forgive a parent who's dead, and I did have a terrific relationship with my dad. So since I've done that, that's been almost, let's say, 18 months. I've been learning how to live in the world but not be of it, as I said earlier. I think the next step for me is to apologize to my kids. I've got 3 adult kids. My wife and I got married in a fallen state. It's been, let's call it rocky. It's been a normal marriage, and that there have been some issues. Nothing that would have broken the marriage. We've been married for 34 years next month. But I think the next thing for me to do is to speak to the kids. You talk every day about how to forgive your mom, and I know how that conversation starts. How does the conversation start? Hey, son, hey, daughter, I need to apologize to you for what I did to you.
Let's say that you were impatient with them, or you were angry and impatient. Son, daughter, I'm sorry. I was wrong for being impatient. Or if you didn't protect them, which most fathers don't, then protect them from their mother and allow her to impose her anger, her will upon them. I was wrong. I should have stood between your mother and you so that she could not have imposed her will on you. And I'm sorry, I was wrong.
That's it right there.
Come back to your phone.
That's it right there. You hit the nail on the head. There are a lot of things that I could have apologized for, but it's definitely letting her take the reins in the household. I was beta male for forever, and so it's been a journey to discover that and to make those changes internally. So that's it. What you just said is a simple answer. I'm grateful for that. I need to apologize to each one of them. I should do it individually. I assume have that conversation one-on-one with each of the three kids.
If you
and just keep it simple like that.
Yeah, if the opportunity come where all three are together, whichever opportunity come first. If they're individuals, do it that way. But if they all happen to be there at the same time, do it that way.
Wow. All right. Well, that's what's next for me. It is. It's so simple. One of the things I love about your show, about the church in particular, is that you just keep it simple, right? It's simple and it's consistent, and in that way, that's one of the things about reading the Bible, the stories that Christ would tell, right? That the Bible tells us that Christ spoke in parables, and you do that for us on your show. The message is simple and it's repeatable every day, which is what makes it so easy for us to see the light. Of course, we've got to make the decision to act on that. But I'm really grateful to have found your content. Thank you so much for what you do.
You're welcome. And God's ways are simple. His burdens are light. That's why he said, take on my ways, because anyone that has anger or hatred, which is the same, their burdens are heavy. Their ways are hard and rough, and I mean, they're catching hell. But if they return to the Father, their life will become simple and easy, and it's mind-blowing. But they got to return to the Father. They got to overcome evil and return to good.
And doing that path is it's such an easy path when you let go of that baggage.
Absolutely,
you got less
man.
to carry with you. Oh, freedom. I'm only at the beginning stages of it, but freedom is so amazing to walk that path.
Yeah.
And to be able to start to see the evil around me is amazing.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Every morning, every night.
Stay with it and just continue to watch those thoughts. That's all you need to do is to do the silent prayer and watch the thoughts. And if you get caught up and feel all that crappy emotional stuff, just watch it, let it pass, and just live your life, live your day one moment at a time. And the life is happening for you, because of ourselves we can do nothing. We can't make it happen. But it is happening for you, and you haven't seen anything yet, Chris. There are no words to express.
Yeah, I can't wait for what comes next, and I could literally do this afternoon. Jesse, maybe a quick follow-up question. I get the sense that this conversation with my kids should be my next step, rather than go and confront or apologize to my wife. Would you agree with that?
Whichever come first.
Would that conversation be similar with her? Would that conversation started?
I'm sorry for letting you down. I wasn't a man. I wasn't in the light. I didn't lead you out of your hell. I went into your hell with you. And I'm wrong. I'm sorry. That's all you need to do.
It's so simple.
Yeah. Is she working on herself?
No.
Oh,
no.
Man.
And so I've been working on me for a year and a half, 18 months or so.
Right.
And what I've learned from you is it doesn't make sense to boast about it. Hey, I'm making these changes, and I've changed my ways, because I've changed my ways 1,000 times in 34 years, right? And it always fails. So I'm just making the changes and moving forward, and I can tell that she has seen that, and she at certain points she's not liking what she sees. She's losing that control that she had.
Yes, 100%. I was going to tell you, and you're right. Don't boast about it; just live it, right? But if she is not working on herself, how long you been married?
Be 34 years now. I'm sorry. The answer to your question is 33 years.
You have not seen hell until you start changing, and she can no longer control you. Unless she start working on herself, you're about to deal with real hell. But because you're dealing with hell now, with heaven, you're using heaven to deal with hell, you're going to be fine. But you're going to see Satan in ways that you've never seen him come out of her.
Yeah.
But you'll see how to deal with it, and you'll be fine. And then she might, in the next 50 years, she might wake up, and then you'll die, but you'll be fine.
Excellent. I've got it on good authority that I got about 50 left, so I'm ready for that.
Right on. Well, stay with it, Chris.
I appreciate that. I'm so thrilled to have for that you took my call. Amazing work that you're doing down there, and I can only hope that someday soon I can get down to LA and see you guys all in person. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome, buddy. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right. If you want to really see the hell in the woman that you're with, wait until she starts losing control over you. Wait until you don't cater to her evil emotions. You don't cater to my emotions. You don't love me. You don't listen to me. And what she's really saying is, you don't allow me to control you anymore. You're cheating on me. You're this. What she's really saying, come back into my hell and let me control you. I can't live without that. Because she's having internal conflict like nothing going no. It's like stop. You know how those people that use drugs and they stop using it, and then they start wigging out, shaking, or whatever they do. I forgot withdrawal. It's like that. That's what she's feeling on the inside. The drug is no. She can't use the drug no more. And she ain't ready to overcome the drug. Colin, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, sir.
So my question is, do you believe that Jesus Christ is God?
No.
Why not?
Because he's his son.
But it says in the Bible in many verses that he is God.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. In John 1:1-3, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And all things were made by him, and without him nothing was made.
That's true about God, but that doesn't say Jesus was God.
Well, it says that the Word was God. Jesus is the Word.
God is the truth, and the Word was in Jesus, which was from the Father in Jesus. The Father was in the Son. Father and Son are one. You believe he's God?
Right. Yes.
And what good has it done you to believe that?
So much good. I used to be an atheist, and I became a Christian, and it's changed my life.
In what way?
I've just found a peace. I'm not angry anymore. I don't have sin as much, and Jesus has just transformed my life.
And you have perfect peace?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, hold on to it there, man, if it's working for you.
Of course.
All right.
But I think that the Bible shows that Jesus Christ is God in the verses.
Well, what you just read didn't show that.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Is Jesus the Word?
No, Jesus, the Son of God. God is the Word.
What about the Trinity?
What about him?
The Trinity. God is the Trinity. That's what Christians have believed for all of history.
Look how blind and weak they are.
No, it's the truth.
And so you believe in something called the Trinity?
Yes, the Trinity, that God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Where'd you get that from?
Well, the Trinity is a doctrine of the church since the first century.
Where did you get that from?
Well, the Trinity isn't named in the Bible, but the Bible verses point to it being true.
So if that is true and the Christians are into the Bible, why have they gotten worse and not better?
Which Christians gotten worse?
All of them.
Why do you think that?
You don't see, have they gotten better?
I think some of them are good, but I don't think all of them are bad.
What?
You say that the Christians have gotten worse. I don't think so.
And why not?
Because I think that there have been a lot of movements that have changed the Christian message, have destroyed the Christian message, but I think that true Christians still exist, and they do the work of God here on earth in this time.
So you don't see that they have mass-produced the Bible, and everybody and the mama read the Bible, but nothing has changed? You think, in what way have they, you said they've been doing the work of God?
Some of them, yeah, some people, but it's very few, only very few.
What is the work of God?
Well, the work of God is spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ.
How?
Well, by proclaiming that Jesus Christ is Lord and nobody can enter heaven except through him.
All right.
And there are plenty of people who say that. Okay.
Well, hang on to that, buddy. I don't want to convince you. I'll leave you right in your hell until you're ready to come out, because you're not supposed to convince anyone of the truth. Either they see it or they don't. So I wish you well with that, all right?
Okay. See you, Jesse.
All right, buddy. George, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. How you doing, sir?
All is well, George. Happy White History Month, George.
Happy White History, sir. Absolutely. I just want to say also, too, I know it's a little late, but happy belated birthday as well. I've been trying to call in to give you a birthday wish, but I wasn't able to get through. But I want to wish you all the best.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well,
thank you. Thank you.
Jesse, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So I did went and forgave my dad first, believe it or not, and that seemed to go okay. I guess he was more looking at some of the things that, he was like, okay, name me this, name me that. Well, I said, it's not about naming things what happened in the past. I just want to say is I know where my resentment, my anger, my patience didn't come from, and or why I never had it, and so everything seems to be fine, and we're fine right now. I went and did the same thing with my mom, and she's like, okay, well, I don't know what I did, but you can tell me whatever you want, and she didn't accept any responsibility for anything, and I said that's fine, whatever. I just felt it better to get it off my chest, like you said. So going, while we're doing that, like my situation is slightly different, and why I say that is because my nephew lives with my parents, and he's 25 years old.
Amazing.
And yeah, I know. And I just said to her, I go, listen, what you think that you're doing by helping him out, you're not really doing. You're actually making things worse for him, because he doesn't know how to be an individual, how to be a man, and how to take responsibility, because you're just sitting there helping him, catering to him, and all those kinds of things. And so she was, well, what am I supposed to do? I said, I don't know. Maybe you should have started charging him rent, or maybe you should tell him to leave, or just kick him out, right? And that's all I basically said. I left it at that.
Yeah.
So then I noticed that my nephew hasn't been coming over, and he's been canceling on my son, doing this and that. And when I went over twice now, 3 times to my parents' place just to talk to him about a certain couple of things, he left to the front door. He didn't want to see me. Then I find out after that the reason he's upset with me is because my mom told him to kick him out, that I told him to kick him out of the house. And I just thought that was friggin' hilarious, because I didn't say it like that. She didn't tell him the full context. She just went and told him, well, guess what? Your uncle told me to kick you out of the house. And that was it. So now he's upset with me. So my question to you is this, is that, do you feel that I should confront my mom and say, hey, like, why would you go and say something that's not what I said exactly? Like, I almost felt like confronting all 3 of them, because my dad has absolutely no idea. My nephew doesn't even know exactly how it was said to him or how I said it. And my mom just made it seem like, like you said, they built an army against you. Well, that's exactly what she did.
And so your question is, should you talk to them about it?
Should I ask my mom, like, why would you do that? Like, like, do you see, this is what I'm talking about. This is the evil this is the kind of problems that you create, that you cause. Like,
100%.
You're not being truthful.
100%. And
Okay.
then explain to your nephew, yes, you're too old to be living here. You need to get out and get your own place, because my mother going to do to you what she's done to me. She'll destroy you. And so...
Well, yeah, exactly.
And he
runs to her for every problem and everything. Like, I don't understand that. I said, you need to be a man. You need to freaking, be on your own.
Well, you were doing him a favor telling him that. And so once you meet with them, you make it clear that what you meant about that, you be done with it. And let them just suffer until they're ready to overcome their own hell.
Okay.
And if they're ready, because most people love their hell.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I you know what, Jesse, I'll be honest with you. Like, I was blind up to the point where until I saw you or heard about you and listened to your message. And I must say, I'm definitely waking up now. I mean, unfortunately, it took me 47 years. But I'm awake, and I'll tell you one thing: you're definitely helping our whole family out because my sons and my wife watch you and listen to you and take a lot of what you have to say to truth. You know what I mean? And your message is very simple and it's very honest and it's very clear. So I thank you for that.
Yeah,
but
and stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. You haven't seen anything yet. It gets better. But when you do talk to them, don't be angry if they reject it.
No.
But you definitely should make it clear so that your nephew would know that you were giving your mother the best advice, that it's best for him that he be out on his own instead of living under mama's skirt tail, because he's not going to develop into manhood as long as he's living with mama.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So now this is a second part to the same kind of scenario, but so this is another quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
My brother doesn't live in the same province as I do, and I guess for whatever reason his marriage wasn't working out, and he was seeing another woman and this and that, and I guess my nephew found out, and he went and told my mother, right? Well, so now my brother's ex-wife or girlfriend had called my mom to find out what's going on, and my mom told her that, he's seeing another woman and so on and so forth. Now, again, this has nothing to do with me.
Right.
But I just found out about this because she had contacted me to find out if I know it. And I said, I don't want to be in any of this business. Whatever you guys do, that's on your own. And he's a grown man, you're a grown woman. You need to take care of it yourself. Like, this has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, I found out by your mom that she's seen her. And I said, well, that's between you guys then. But the question is this: is that, like, my dad doesn't know about this as well because my mom tends to hide things. But I almost feel like also confronting them about the same thing, saying, why would you go and tell her that he's seeing another woman? Were you just making more problems for him as well? Like, is that even, should I even mention that, or is that just completely irrelevant?
I mean, if it comes up, be honest with her about because your mother is evil. And yeah. I would point that out if it comes up. But since it has nothing to do with you, I would leave that out and just deal with the nephew thing and let your brother suffer until he's ready to overcome his hell. If he asks you about it, just say, I heard about it, but I'm not into that. You need to forgive your mother because she's evil. She can't help it. But I wouldn't. That has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and the only reason why I bring that up is because I just wanted to expose that, because I don't think my dad sees my mom the same way I see her. I for some reason, my dad's changed. He's become a little bit weaker in his older age, and he finds that everything she says is the truth. And I find him being a little more beta now that he's older than I've ever seen him in my life.
Well, he doesn't believe that everything she says is the truth. He's going along with the lie in order to try to get along, but he doesn't know that's only destroying him. But he's just
I know.
He's just trying to go along with her because he can't deal with her.
Yeah, possibly. Okay.
So he's always been weak, because if he was strong, he would have stood between you and your mother so that she couldn't do what she's done to you.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
So you're just waking up, so you see how weak he really is. He's always been that way.
No. Yeah, that's so true. Absolutely, Jesse. Well, Jesse, I just want to say thank you very much for taking my call and for taking the time, and I wish you all the best and everything in a good, healthy life.
Thank you, man. The same to you. And are you doing the prayer every morning, every night?
Well, I would be lying to you if I say I do it every morning, every night. So the answer is no, but I do try to do it.
What a baby!
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't like being called up. I'll take it as an honor from being called up by you.
I want to encourage you because you have a family and you are dealing with evil, right? And so
yes, I know.
You want to stay present. So I want to encourage you to stay with the prayer. You got to do it morning. You don't have to, but I reckon because God said pray without ceasing, because you want to get to a point, and you will, where you're going to find yourself living in the present more than not, rather than going to the past or the so-called future that doesn't exist either way. Yeah. You're going to find yourself naturally living in the present. It'll become a normal, natural way.
Jesse, you know what the thing is? This is, I'll be honest with you. When I try to do the silent prayer, sometimes those friggin' voices are so strong. I know you're laughing, but I'll tell you something. It's like I say to myself as I'm doing it, okay, that's enough. That's enough. I don't want to listen to this, and it's very overwhelming sometimes. It's crazy.
But
really,
you
really
got
is.
you got to face the devil, though. That's just the devil in your imagination and emotions.
Yes.
And he doesn't want you to sit still and let the light destroy him, take him away from your body. And so that's why he's yelling at you like that. You just sit there and take it anyway.
Okay. Okay.
And the pain and the overwhelming feeling or whatever you get is not you at all. It's not you.
Yeah, no, I do believe that, and I don't know. I don't get no pain. It's just more so of the overwhelming. The voices are so loud sometimes that it's just hard to concentrate to be in that quiet peace that you want to be in.
Right,
you know?
but I understand what you said. I totally understand it. But if you just sit there as long as you can, stare at the devil, don't argue with him, don't have a conversation with him. He's going to scream and get loud, and he's going to get some little demons to come and help him. He's just fighting against the light, and it's not you. Just practice watching that and relax and let it pass, and you'll see eventually the devil will depart from you.
I believe that, absolutely.
The intellect will die.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it, sir.
You're welcome, buddy. I wish you well.
I wish you well as well, and all the best of your crew as well. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Amazing. Out of Russia, first-time caller, Vlad. Vlad, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you very much, Jesse. You are amazing.
Amazing.
Your discovery for me of the year, right after Andrew Tate. You are amazing, really. So my question is, well, let me first quickly say my point. You always encourage people and I recommend to forgive mom and dad. And what if the dad in the fallen state, right after my mom, I forgive them both. And my dad is living in the fallen state, and you are also encouraged to turning back to the Father. What does it really mean to turn back to the Father? Is it turn back to the heavenly Father or earthly Father? Can you explain it, please, for me?
Turn back to your earthly Father. When you turn back to Him, you're going to naturally return to the spiritual Father. And return to the earthly Father just simply means don't be angry at Him, forgive Him. And when you, because anger is hatred. So you can't hate your earthly father and know God. So when you don't hate your earthly father, you should become a son of God again. And so returning to the Father when you were a kid and your mother, because of the anger of her heart and yearning for the Father, she turned you away from your Father by causing you to become angry. And when she did that, she turned you away from your earthly father, and that's why life is miserable, because you can't see. And you need to forgive your father. Hey, Dad, Father, I'm sorry for resenting you, and I realize now you can help it. And when you forgive him and your mother, God will forgive you and turn you back to the Father, the earthly Father. And through that, through him, you will love, you will come to know God again. And that's when you will come out of the darkness of your imagination into the light of God.
Okay, I got it all, Jesse. Thank you very much. But one thing, back to the earthly Father. Is it the same thing that I should communicate with him, I should talk to him, I should have a movement with him, such any kind of participating in anything? Because my father is under control of my stepmom, okay? And he's in evil. He's in a fallen state.
Right.
I cannot trust him. I can forgive him, but I cannot turn it back to him. I cannot imagine it. So can you please explain this turning back term in the a little bit wider?
Well, turning back just simply means don't be angry at him, don't hate him. It doesn't mean that you got to hang out with him. You don't need to do anything but just forgive him and don't hate him. And once you don't hate him, then God will work out everything else for you. You don't have to hang out with him. You don't need to trust him, because when you forgive him, you would neither trust him or distrust him. You would just let him live his life, and you will, you wish him well, and that's about it. But you don't have to trust him. You don't have to hang out with him.
Okay, but if he asks me to trust him, but I know that he's in a fallen state, he's not with the right position in front of the God, he's not under his control. Should I trust him? Should I give him a try?
Well, if he asks you to, you should give him a try, meaning that just take it one day at a time and see what happens, because now that you forgive him, you're going to wake up, and he will not be able to deceive you in any way. He won't be able to hurt you or anything, because you can take it or leave it.
Okay.
And once you forgive him, you won't need anything from him. You won't need him to love you. You would love him with the God's love working through you, right? So you won't need him in any way or shape at all. And you can hang out with him or you can not hang out with him. You can talk to him or you can not talk to him. You would be fine because you would have turned back to God by forgiving him. You would start to walk in the light.
Okay, Jesse, thank you very much for such explanation.
Is that clear?
You helped me. Yeah, now it's clear for me. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, just turn it back to your earthly father. Just mean don't hate your father. That's all. It doesn't mean you got to hang out or anything, because you can't love God and hate your earthly father, because men represents a representative of God. They're sons of God, even though they may be weak in a fallen state, and the father's trying to turn them back. But when you hate the son, you're going to hate the father. But if you don't hate the son, you won't hate the father.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are you doing the silent prayer?
Yes, I do. Third day, as I saw it on your video, I started practicing.
Oh, okay. Stay with it, so things will be made even more clear for you, all right?
Okay, thank you very much, Jason.
Have you forgiven your mother?
Yes, I forgave them all.
Why did you resent your father?
Because of his fallen state.
But why should you resent him for that?
Because he doesn't like the truth. He doesn't like the God.
Right, but you still don't be mad at him about it. If he doesn't like it, just wish him well and go your way, but don't be angry because someone don't want the truth.
Okay, got it.
And then don't try to make him see the truth. You can't make anyone see the truth. You just become the truth. You start living that way and be an example, but you can't make anyone else see it, your parents or anyone.
Okay. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Jason.
Let me know how it goes, all right?
Okay.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. John, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, Jesse?
All is well, John.
Oh, okay. I've been like the caller before me. I've been trying for years to get on and talk to you. I actually got introduced to you. Oh, I'm getting nervous. But I know you always say, oh, it's Jesse.
Relax, it's just Jesse.
Okay. So when I first met you, well, I saw your videos rather. You was like, oh, forgive your mom, and then forgive your dad for allowing your mom.
Come back to your phone. Come back to your phone.
Oh. And then you was like, forgive your mom, and then forgive your dad for allowing your mom to do her mess, right?
Right.
So I was a beta male for a long time because I was living with my mom until like 26 or something like that. I'm 30 now, but I'm out of my mom's house, married, got my own place.
Nice.
But, anyway. Oh, yeah. So
does your wife obey you?
Yes, she does.
Nice.
Oh, yes. But I give her something to obey her. You know, I've become the man I am now. But, okay, now, my brain is all jumbled. So I remember I was watching a video one day. It was one of the first times I've seen the message of forgiving your mom. And I didn't realize that I had such I was so against it at the time. So then I'm like, you know what? Let me try something. So I go to her room, and I was like, Mom, you know something? I forgive you. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, I forgive you. And she was like, okay. And she didn't know how to take it, I guess. But then another time, it was like maybe within that same week, I was like, you know something, Mom? Satan is your daddy. And then she was like, you know, she was mad, but it was like, it took her off. It took her off like guard. So, but I noticed that our relationship started getting better once I forgave him. And sad story, I've never met my father because he went to prison. I was like 2, but I spoke to him once when I was 15, and then I spoke to him again recently. But I remember I wrote him a letter, and I told him that I forgave him. And he was like, oh, man, you know. And our relationship started getting a little better because at first it was all like, I don't care about him. And then I realized, like, I'm his identical twin, though I am not him. You know, I'm my own man. But I see where everything comes from, you know, all the good stuff and bad stuff. And it's just like, oh, man. I just got to say, Jesse, I've been wanting to talk to you for the longest. And today is a great day because I finally got on. And then I think that, I forget his name. I think his name was the Anchor Baby. The Anchor Baby. I think that's who was like, what's your name? I was like, John. He said, where you from? Like, India. And I was like, oh, finally talking to somebody. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, that was Sean, I think.
Oh, Sean. Well, thank you, Sean. Oh, man. But I can tell you this. Now, majority of my family, they don't like you. But I love you. Literally every morning, I watch your shows, and then I used to love the episodes with Earl and T. I just did a long drive like 2 days ago, and I was literally listening to you all's banter, and I'm just like, oh my God, y'all are hilarious. Hilarious. I gotta ask one more question, then I gotta go take my dog to the vet because he gotta get a shot. What gave you the inspiration? Because I remember seeing, I've actually watched some of your older videos when I don't know the time frame, but it was like looked like the late 80s, 90s when you had this show and you had like all these people come in and sit down and talk. And I'm trying to figure out like what inspired you to at first, because if I'm right, you are a reverend, but then it somehow transitioned over into your message that you have today. Like, what happened during that transitional period that made you want to do what you do now?
Well, I had conflict growing up because I had anger too, and so I had no peace within. And I heard growing up that if you're a son of God, you should have peace, right? Christ came that we may have peace. And I always wanted that. I just believed it when I heard it as a kid, but I had no peace. So growing up, I was asked questions of myself and others. And finally, I asked God to let me see myself. Why don't I have peace? And he allowed me to see, long story short, he allowed me to see that I resented my mother for turning me away from my father, for trying to at least. And when I saw that, he allowed me to see it. It brought a sense of a sadness, not like human sadness, but I was sad that I had resented her because it held me back in life. And I went and forgave her. And when I forgave her, God forgave me. And I had a talk with my father. He told me what had happened. And I didn't really resent him. I yearned for him, but I didn't resent him. But when God woke me up, he just caused me to do what I do now. I never planned to do anything that I have been doing for the last 3 to 5 years. He is causing that to happen, and I really honestly have nothing to do with it.
That's amazing.
Amazing. And if you stay with the prayer and watch those thoughts, he's going to cause your life to happen too, because he already has it laid out for you. And whatever his plan is for you or whatever it's meant to be, it's going to happen, and you won't be able to prevent it from happening. You will have nothing to do with it. you will have no other choice but to walk, to just live and let life happen. The same thing will happen for you.
Thank you. I totally believe that. I
Yeah.
totally believe it.
And so are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Now, I do pray every morning, every night, but I've never watched the video. So maybe it's the same concept. I don't know, but I got to look at it.
Yeah, do your little hoop and holler, and when you're done, be still and know God. Do the silent prayer morning and night, and during the day, practice keeping your mind where your body is, because God is in the present, and He wants you to live in the present so that He can guide you. Instead of thinking about the past or the future, He wants you to live in the present. So go to www.silentprayer.video, and He'll guide you. It's going to be amazing for you, John.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. I got the biggest smile on my face because now I'm going to leave you with this. They say to never meet your heroes because they're people just like you.
Right.
And I never idolize. I don't have a favorite celebrity. I don't really like sports. I mean, I like skateboarding, but it's maybe a sport. But I don't idolize you, but I have such a great respect for you.
Thank
I really
you.
do.
Right on.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I'm just Jesse. I have to pray. I have to watch. I have to work on me, just as I'm encouraging you to do for you. Amazing.
Amazing. Thank you, Jesse. Hey, have a great Friday, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
I will. Thank you, John. I wish the same for you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right,
have
bye
a
now.
great one.
Okay. Out of Louisiana. Sandra, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've tried for 2 years to get through.
Wow, you finally made it.
Yes, sir.
Amazing. Well, welcome. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just have a question.
Okay.
And it's really been troubling me pretty much all my life. I grew up the most fundamentalist religion you could possibly grow up, besides the Amish, I guess, I grew up in a church all my life, pretty much all my life. But the person that gave me the foundation for my Christianity, she was a fire and brimstone preacher direct from the Bible. And I'm wondering, why do a lot of ministers that are men look down on women preaching the word? I that's always troubled me, because the woman that gave me that, from 4 or 5 years old, when I could understand the Bible a little bit, gave me the fire to know more, it was a woman. Could you please explain that to me?
Okay, I will. But first, for me to understand, what do you mean by fire and brimstone?
I mean, she's a Pentecostal preacher.
Well, what is fire?
She preached, the principles of morals and values and how a Christian should live.
But what is fire and brimstone? I don't know what that is.
Oh, well, I just mean, you listen to black preachers who just get, fired up about the word. That's what I mean by fire and brimstone.
Oh, was she black?
No.
She white?
Yes, sir.
And did that help you when she was doing all that mess?
Well, I could tell you this. It gave me, when I got old enough to read the Bible and actually study more about it, it gave me it gave me the morals and values that I need to go through life as a Christian, yes.
And so did it help you?
Yes.
Did it give you perfect peace?
Yes.
You have perfect peace?
I have perfect peace.
You never get angry?
I have forgiven my enemies.
And your question is what?
Well, she was a female minister. So what I'm kind of wondering is,
why do so many male ministers kind of speak against that?
Well, first, I'm sorry that you went through the torture of having a female preacher. I'm sorry that happened to you. That must have been pretty traumatic for you. And secondly, women are not called by God to preach because it's not in their nature to lead. It's in the nature of the woman to follow God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, woman over children, right? And so it's not in her nature to lead. And I know that these women who are on an ego trip, they want to be equal to a man in their mind only. They think they get up there and read the Bible, but the devil can read the devil can be a fire and brimstone Bible reader, and he can teach that to you as well.
So am I not a legitimate Christian?
What does that mean, legitimate Christian?
Well, since I got she taught that the man is the head of the household. She did, and I'm just wondering why.
Because
I don't understand that, but
you wonder why what?
Am I a legitimate Christian?
What's a legitimate Christian?
Someone who is, I guess, apparently ministered by a man.
I'm sorry?
Well, does that make me an illegitimate Christian because when I was younger, I followed a female minister? She did teach me how to overcome my emotions. That's why I'm not quick to temper. I don't have a quick temper. I don't feel greed or jealousy. I'm just trying to understand, what she didn't do that I needed from a ministry from a man.
Well, all you need to know is that I don't know what a legitimate Christian. You didn't tell me that. What is a legitimate Christian?
What I'm asking you is, since I grew up with a female minister, is all her teachings not valid?
Well, anybody can read the Bible and throw it back up at you, right? Put it out there. But that ain't going to do nothing for you. It doesn't help you. It's just intellectual knowledge until you overcome it, if that's what you mean. Why did your father let you be taught by a female preacher?
I don't know. My father was a great Christian. He was.
But why did he sit under her too?
He did go. Excuse me. He did have after her church dissolved, she passed away. Him and my mother did attend a church ministered by a male, which I love attending.
And so
their church at that time.
Did your father sit
Church of Christ.
Did your father sit under that woman too and let her minister to him?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Have you forgiven your mother and father?
Yes.
You told them?
I always told them after any type of conflict, I forgave them.
Did you tell your mother and father you forgive them for what they've done to you?
Well, I didn't know they were doing anything bad to me when we were going to her church.
But did you forgive your mother, go to your mother and father and forgive them for anything they did wrong, mistakes they made?
Yeah.
When they,
of course.
You told them that? You told your mother you forgive her?
I've always forgave my parents for whatever.
Did you tell your mother you forgive her?
I can't hold grudges being a Christian.
Did you
correct?
Did you tell your mother you forgive her?
Of course.
And what did she say?
I don't know, but wait. Are you asking me if I forgave them for bringing me to a church ministered by a woman?
No, I'm asking, did you go to your mother and forgive her, period, for what she did to you?
Well, I'm not sure what she did to me. I would have to forgive her, but any type of conflict we've ever had, we've forgiven each other.
Did you go to your mother and forgive her for the mistake she made with you?
Sure.
You told her that?
Like I hope my kids
have forgiven me for whatever mistakes I've made with them.
Did
Isn't that what the Father wants?
Did you go to your mother and
Isn't
forgive?
that the basis of Christianity, forgiveness?
Did you go to your mother and forgive her?
Yes.
You told her?
Well, yes.
And what did she say when you say, I'm sorry for resenting you?
I never resented my mother except through my teenage years. I mean, she forgave me. I forgave her.
What did your mother say when you went to her and told her, I'm sorry for resenting you?
She said, I forgive you. And
she
was sorry for whatever she did at that time, too. I mean, forgiveness, I forgive right off the bat.
Sandra, you went to your mother and told her you were sorry for resenting her, right? For what she did.
Sure.
And what did she say?
Doesn't everybody at one point in their life?
What did she say when you told her, I'm sorry for resenting you?
She forgave me.
What? She ain't supposed to forgive you. She the one did it wrong. She's supposed to apologize.
But when you're going through your teenage years and you're rebellious, you do things that your parents don't like. And when they call you down on it, that's when the resentment starts.
No,
yes.
No, the reason you're rebelling because you become like your mother. You're acting like your mother, and your mother don't like seeing herself in you.
I don't know. My mother's a good person.
What's good about her?
She's been faithful to God. She was faithful to my father.
And so what's good about her?
What's good about her?
Yeah.
Well, she's really always been there when I needed to talk. She's always done, whatever I needed. She was there.
So what's good about her?
What's good about her?
Yeah.
I guess that she's my mom.
What's good about her?
I don't know what you want me to say other than I love my mom.
You said that she was good, and so far you haven't told me anything that make her good.
Well, she's good to other people.
No.
She's good to her
because I'm tired, no human being is good. No such thing as a good. Only God is good.
Well, she is a Christian.
Only God is good. That doesn't make your mama good. You should forgive her, Sandra. Is she still living?
I don't understand about the forgiveness part because I'm not angry with my mom.
I'm sorry?
I mean, my question is, please tell me why I shouldn't have been ministered to by a woman.
Because it wasn't from God. It was straight out of hell.
My goodness.
You don't have any goodness. Forgive your mother and forgive your father and mother still living, Sandra?
My mother is.
Go forgive your mother and you shall know goodness and you will have an amazing life.
I don't have any aggressions against my mother.
But you said when you were a teenager,
I don't understand.
You said when you were a teenager you rebelled.
Sure, and I apologize to her for that.
No, you should forgive her for making you rebel. You became like her. You were rebelling because you had the anger against her.
Oh, no, that's not right. I was like that because of outside influence.
No.
My mother. No, that's wrong.
Sandra, listen, I'm so out of town. Will you call me back on Monday?
Sure.
Okay, I'm out of time right now.
I don't understand. You're not. Okay, you tell me that's directly from hell, but I'm a believer. I mean, I don't understand how I could be a believer.
Well, we'll talk
and
some more.
And directly from hell.
We'll talk some more on Monday, okay?